know what I think? I think it's just it brings to light things that wouldn't normally be brought.
In this fictional account, the world was led to believe that Hulk Hogan passed away peacefully, but his daughter Brooke believes there is more to the story and she is finally ready to expose it. She has begun to mention the names of several WWE wrestlers, and the details she shares are shocking. The wrestling community was stunned when news broke that Hogan had died of cardiac arrest on July 24, 2025 at the age of 71, yet what should have been a period of mourning quickly turned into something darker. Brooke is now speaking out and revealing information that suggests some wrestlers may have played a role in her father's downfall. Social media platforms such as X and Reddit have filled with theories that figures within WWE may have had a hand in his death. The most dramatic theory claims that Vince McMahon silenced Hogan because he knew too much about legal scandals, and the timing of Hogan's death only fueled suspicion. These ideas grew as fans connected the long history of backstage feuds to the strange circumstances surrounding his passing. Some users even suggested that a group of outsiders targeted both Scott Hall and Hulk Hogan after they spoke out, while others imagined ritualistic motives tied to groups linked to WWE. These theories highlight a deep distrust of official statements and the belief that the company has hidden uncomfortable truths. No feud was more intense than the one between Hogan and Jesse the Body Ventura, whose resentment lasted for decades and moved far beyond the wrestling ring, and his comments about Hogan showed just how deep that anger ran.
What? Can't trust him. I'm not friends with anyone I don't trust, and he's the one that ratted me to Vince when I tried to unionize.
This was not just wrestling drama, but a real betrayal that destroyed lives and careers. Jesse Ventura discovered Hulk Hogan's treachery during a federal deposition when Vince McMahon, under oath, confirmed that Hogan was the informant who sabotaged unionization efforts in 1986. Hogan sold out every wrestler in the business to protect his own financial interests, earning more than the entire locker room combined, while his colleagues struggled without basic protections. The ramifications of this betrayal extended far beyond personal animosity and fundamentally altered the trajectory of workers' rights in professional wrestling, potentially costing wrestlers millions in lost benefits and protections over the decades that followed. Ventura was not alone in his hatred. Bret Hart also harbored deep resentment toward Hogan's backstage politics, particularly the WrestleMania 9 incident where Hogan used his creative control to steal what should have been Hart's defining moment. The situation became even more heated when Hart confronted Hogan about dropping the title to him, leading to a backstage confrontation that defined their relationship for years. Hart later recalled that after he wrestled, Hogan went in the ring, won the belt, and was supposed to drop it back to Yokozuna so Hart could eventually win it. When Hart confronted him, Hogan refused, saying, "No, I'm not." This was not just a creative disagreement, but part of Hogan's pattern of using his influence to bury talent and protect his position at the top. Hart accused Hogan of refusing to lose cleanly and lying about future plans, describing him as someone who would say, "I'm not doing business with you." The impact on Hart's career was significant, as what should have been his crowning achievement was stolen by Hogan's political maneuvering, forever altering the path of one of wrestling's greatest technical performers. The conspiracies took an even darker turn with Randy Savage, whose friendship with Hogan deteriorated into real animosity and violence. Once inseparable, their relationship became one of wrestling's most bitter personal feuds. Hogan later admitted their bond fell apart due to jealousy and misunderstandings, explaining that when Savage went through a divorce, he wrongly believed Hogan was involved, leading to an 8-year silence between them. According to reports, however, their conflict went beyond words. Scott Steiner claimed that Savage confessed to punching Hogan and giving him a black eye before WrestleMania 9, driven by paranoia over Hogan's relationship with Miss Elizabeth. This was not kayfabe but genuine violence born from real hatred. The incident reportedly forced Hogan to fabricate a cover story, claiming his injuries came from a jet ski accident rather than admitting he had been attacked by his former best friend. Even more troubling are the theories involving The Undertaker, whose early career was nearly destroyed by Hogan's false accusations. Hogan allegedly claimed that The Undertaker injured his neck during their 1991 Survivor Series match, causing temporary paralysis, when video footage later showed the move was performed safely. The accusation left The Undertaker fighting for his reputation and fearing for his job. Some believe this incident created a deep resentment that lasted for years. Hogan's relationship with Vince McMahon was equally complicated, marked by power struggles and mutual mistrust. Their partnership was built on shared success but undermined by constant tension over creative control and business decisions. What emerged from it all was a portrait of a man whose pursuit of dominance left behind a trail of broken friendships, shattered trust, and lost opportunities throughout the wrestling industry.
Boss, I regret what we do in the ring,
trust him in the deal was for me to drop it back to you. Brett kept my focus and dropped it off the bench.
The conflict between Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon escalated into something far more serious during the 1994 federal steroid trial. Hogan testified under immunity, admitting to using steroids while implicating McMahon in shared usage. Although McMahon was ultimately acquitted, he reportedly felt deeply betrayed by Hogan's testimony. The tension between the two men never fully healed, and their uneasy relationship continued to cast a shadow over wrestling's backstage politics for years. McMahon's later remark that Hogan wasn't as big as he thinks he is revealed the lingering resentment that persisted long after their partnership ended. Beyond his professional feuds, Hogan's personal controversies created an entirely different set of challenges that haunted his public image. His life outside the ring was marred by scandals that blurred the line between his wrestling persona and his private behavior. One of the most damaging incidents occurred in 2015, when leaked audio from a 2007 recording captured Hogan using racial slurs while discussing his daughter Brooke's personal life. The fallout was immediate and devastating. The scandal not only shattered his reputation but also exposed a disturbing contrast between the wholesome image of Hulkamania and the private reality behind it. The leaked recordings suggested attitudes and prejudices that were fundamentally at odds with the values he had promoted throughout his career. Additional reports of racially insensitive remarks further deepened the controversy, leading to widespread backlash from fans, peers, and the public. When Hogan eventually addressed the situation, his attempts to explain or contextualize his words only fueled further criticism. What emerged was a portrait of a man whose personal failures overshadowed his professional legacy, leaving behind a complex and often troubling reputation. Despite decades of success and influence, the combination of betrayal, controversy, and scandal ensured that Hulk Hogan's legacy would forever remain one of wrestling's most polarizing stories.
Macho Man, when he lived on the beach here, we would get him every single day, and then when he went through the divorce, he thought I had something to do with it. That turned out to be like 8 years don't talk.
But Hogan's explanations only made matters worse. In attempting to justify his racist language, he blamed his environment and upbringing, a defense that rang hollow to many. His response revealed not only deep-seated prejudice but also a profound lack of understanding about why his words were so harmful. Instead of rebuilding his reputation, his statements further alienated fans and peers, cementing the perception that he failed to grasp the gravity of his actions.
It was a love-hate relationship, you know. He thought he knew best, I thought I knew best. So it was always a tug of war with me. You know, we seemed to click and make it.
This was not just a momentary lapse in judgment, but a glimpse into decades of ingrained prejudice that had been carefully concealed behind the bright colors and optimism of the Hulkamania persona. The fallout was immediate and devastating. WWE terminated Hogan's contract and removed him from its Hall of Fame, effectively erasing him from company history until his controversial reinstatement in 2018. The repercussions extended far beyond wrestling, as sponsors severed ties and public appearances were canceled, leading to financial and reputational damage that lasted for years. Yet the racism scandal was only the beginning. The same 2007 recording that exposed his offensive remarks also unveiled another painful betrayal, one involving his longtime friend Bubba the Love Sponge. The revelation that a person Hogan trusted implicitly had secretly recorded his most private moments added a deeper layer of humiliation and personal loss. What had begun as a public relations disaster had now become a deeply personal implosion, exposing not only the fractures in Hogan's image but the vulnerabilities in his closest relationships.
At the lowest point of my life, my personal life was destroyed. I was very mad at my daughter. I was upset over a situation that happened between her and her boyfriend, and I had no idea I was being taped. I was to the point where I wanted to quit.
The betrayal by Bubba the Love Sponge was not just personal. It was a profound violation of trust that carried lasting legal and financial consequences. The subsequent lawsuit against Gawker Media resulted in a $140 million judgment, later settled for $31 million, but the damage to Hogan's reputation and personal relationships was irreversible. The case, notably funded by billionaire Peter Thiel due to his own grievances with Gawker, became a landmark in privacy rights law and ultimately drove the media outlet into bankruptcy. Yet even in victory, Hogan endured years of public humiliation, legal scrutiny, and emotional turmoil. Perhaps even more damaging than the scandal surrounding his private life was his long-standing use of performance-enhancing substances, which he admitted during the 1994 federal trial against Vince McMahon. This revelation went far beyond personal drug use. It exposed a pervasive culture of performance enhancement and deception within professional wrestling. Hogan's admission that he had used anabolic steroids for nearly 14 years while promoting a clean, heroic image stunned fans and colleagues alike, highlighting a deep hypocrisy within the industry he helped define. The consequences of that lifestyle extended well beyond the ring. Over time, Hogan's reliance on painkillers and prescription drugs became a serious dependency that nearly cost him his life. He later described a harrowing experience with fentanyl, explaining that the powerful medication almost killed him and forced him to confront the full extent of his addiction. His prescriptions reportedly involved staggering amounts of opioids, including large doses of fentanyl patches and lozenges, which left him physically and mentally debilitated. The withdrawal process he described was brutal, marked by isolation, weight loss, and vivid hallucinations, showing how deeply addiction had consumed his life. But perhaps the most heartbreaking scandal was the one involving his son, Nick. In 2007, Nick Hogan's reckless driving led to a devastating car accident that left his friend John Graziano with permanent brain damage. The tragedy became even more painful when recorded jailhouse conversations revealed an apparent lack of remorse and empathy from Nick, as well as insensitive remarks from Hogan himself. What should have been a period of reflection and accountability instead deepened public outrage. Hogan's comments, including suggestions that the crash might have been part of God's plan, drew sharp criticism and shattered his image as a devoted family man. The Graziano family's lawsuit and subsequent settlement, reportedly around $1.5 million, underscored the lasting consequences of the tragedy and the perception that the Hogans had failed to handle the situation with genuine compassion. By this point, a clear pattern had emerged, one defined by excess, denial, and self-inflicted damage. The same larger-than-life persona that made Hulk Hogan a global icon had also become the mask behind which his deepest personal struggles were hidden.